It started with a bag, not a suitcase, not some ominous duffel with a ticking sound or a bloodstain. Just your average, everyday black leather satchel. My brother, Derek, left it in the back seat of my car after we grabbed lunch at Manny's Tacos. I didn't think much of it at the time. He was always forgetting things. Keys, wallets, basic decency. This was just another Tuesday. Until I opened the bag. Now, I'm not the snooping type. I believe in privacy, respect, the whole moral high ground gig. But Derek had called me in a mild panic, asking if I could check inside to see if his charger was in there. I thought, sure, why not? How much harm could it do? Well, it wasn't a charger I found first. It was a bathrobe. Not just any bathrobe, a silk one. Champagne-colored. Monogrammed. With her initials on it. I stared at it for a full minute, blinking like it might turn into a normal towel if I looked hard enough. But it didn't. It stayed soft, luxurious, and completely out of place in my brother's bag. Then I found the envelope. 2 tickets. Round trip. First class. Bora Bora. Departure, Friday. Names on the reservation, Derek Woods and Ashley Woods. My wife. Now, here's the thing. At this point, I didn't explode. I didn't scream, didn't throw the tickets out the window, or set the bathrobe on fire. No, I just sat there in the driver's seat, gripping the steering wheel like it might keep me from drifting into insanity. There's a kind of calm that comes before a storm. Not the calm of peace. No, the calm of calculation, of realization, of subtle, seething clarity. I slipped everything back into the bag like I'd just borrowed a stick of gum. Then I started the car and smiled. That night, I came home like nothing had happened. Keys on the hook, shoes in the tray, the whole suburban husband routine. Ashley was in the kitchen, humming some soft indie tune and tossing together a salad she didn't even like. She only made it when she was guilty or needed to butter me up. Hey babe, she said, looking up from the cutting board. You're home early. I smiled. Taco Tuesday ran quick. She tilted her head. Derek still around. Left his bag in my car, I said casually, walking over and pecking her on the cheek. He'll probably swing by to grab it tomorrow. I watched her eyes. Just for a flicker. Just to see if the name of the bag's owner triggered anything. It didn't. Stone cold. She slid a tomato into the bowl and said, he's always forgetting something. Oh, you have no idea. Dinner was quiet. Too quiet. The kind of quiet that only lives between 2 people pretending to still be in love. Or maybe only one of them is pretending. After we ate, Ashley brought up something unusual. I made reservations for us this Friday, she said. That new Italian place by the waterfront. I figured we could use a little reconnect. I almost laughed right into my fork. Friday, I said, pretending to scroll through my phone. That's thoughtful. Yeah, she said. I've been feeling like I've been neglecting us. I want to fix that. Right. Fix us. Between layovers in paradise with my brother, no doubt. Still, I nodded. Played the part. Let her feel like she was pulling one over on me. Little did she know, I already had front row seats to the matinee betrayal. She leaned across the table, touched my hand, and said it softly, like she was trying to sell sincerity in bulk. I love you, Logan. And here's the crazy part. I said it back. Because I knew Friday wasn't going to be her date night with me. It was going to be the day everything flipped. Friday came like a freight train. Ashley was in a hurry that morning. Hair curled, nails done, perfume that smelled like expensive lies. She wore a travel outfit that looked casual enough to say just running errands, but styled enough to say ready for selfies on a beach. Subtle deceit. Like she practiced. I'll be home late, she called from the door, keys jingling like freedom. Meeting some co-workers for dinner and drinks. Don't wait up. Right. I waved from the couch with my coffee. Have fun. She left. I waited 5 minutes. Then I grabbed Derek's bag from the hall closet, where I'd stashed it after taking photos of the robe and the tickets. Insurance. I slid into my car like a man headed for war. Not with guns or grenades. Just a camera. And the truth. The airport wasn't far. I parked in short term, leaned against a pillar by departures, and waited. She showed up 40 minutes later. Right on time. Tight jeans, white blazer, sunglasses like she was dodging paparazzi, and dragging a floral suitcase I'd never seen before. But I wasn't looking at her. I was looking at who she met. Derek. My brother. He pulled up in an Uber, wearing a loose linen shirt and cargo shorts, like he was auditioning for a commercial called, I'm having sex with my brother's wife. Ashley ran up to him, laughing, hugging. And then, yep, There it was. The kiss. Nothing dramatic. Just enough to say, we've done this before. I didn't film it. I didn't need to. I'd already won. They walked inside, rolling their luggage side by side like honeymooners. I waited 30 seconds. Then I walked in after them. I didn't confront them. Not yet. Instead, I approached the check-in counter. Flashy smile. Friendly tone. Hi there, I said to the woman behind the desk. My wife's inside with my brother. I think they mixed up our tickets. Name's Logan Woods. Could you check if I'm listed? She typed. Eyebrows raised. Logan Woods? You're not listed. But we do have Ashley Woods and Derek Woods. Both confirmed. First class to Bora Bora. I chuckled. Figures. Thanks. Then I walked away, still calm. Still in control. Because now I had confirmation. Names. Flight. Destination. Evidence. And evidence is power. As I stepped outside into the sunlight, I called my lawyer. I'm ready, I said. Draw it up. Divorce. Full documentation. And hold the prenup clause. We're about to make it worth something. Because you see, betrayal's one thing. But betrayal with receipts? That's how you build revenge. I didn't go home right away. I stopped at a coffee shop instead. Not because I needed caffeine, but because I needed a quiet place to savor the absurdity of it all. My wife and my brother, heading off to paradise like they were the romantic leads in some low-budget Netflix drama. Only difference? I wasn't the jilted extra left behind. No, I was the writer now, and I had a rewrite in mind. I opened my laptop and started a new folder, The Gift Bag. Just a working title for now, but it would evolve. Inside went the photo of the tickets, the shot of the monogrammed robe, screenshots of texts Derek had accidentally sent to our family group chat months ago, now re-examined with the context I'd never had before. Back then, I thought he was just being his usual smug self. Now, those little winks and beach jokes read like postcards from the edge of betrayal. I made copies of everything. Flash drive. Cloud backup. Even printed a set. Because if there's one thing you learn from betrayal, it's redundancy. Then I did something that felt oddly therapeutic. I made 2 gift bags. You know the kind, those boutique-style paper bags with little rope handles and tissue paper that tries too hard. I got them from a party store. Picked out the exact same kind Ashley used for our anniversary gifts. I guess I wanted a little poetry in my pettiness. One bag was for her. The other for him. Ashley's gift bag included the robe, folded neatly. A photo album with caption stills of her and Derek's ticket stubs, text messages, and a receipt from a hotel in Santa Barbara from 2 months ago, when she said she was visiting her aunt at. A handwritten note. You forgot to pack these. Figured I'd return them before your flight takes off permanently. Hope the overhead bin has room for your dignity. Logan. Derek's gift bag was simpler. It contained a framed childhood photo of the 2 of us at the beach, me with a missing tooth, him holding a crab like a trophy. A USB stick with every piece of proof I had. And a note. Short. Sweet. Surgical. You always wanted what I had. Funny how you finally got it, and lost everything else. I dropped Ashley's bag off with her assistant at work, smiling like a man dropping off flowers. She looked surprised. She's on vacation, the girl stammered. Yeah, I said. I know. Derek's was trickier. He didn't have a receptionist or even a front desk. So I did the next best thing. I left it with our mother. Now, before you think that's cruel, trust me. It wasn't about weaponizing Mom. It was about revealing the kind of son she'd raised. One that would smile at the dinner table while plotting to sleep with his brother's wife. One that'd borrow my tools, my car, and apparently, my marriage. She didn't say a word when I handed it to her. Just looked me in the eye, nodded, and said, I always knew he'd do something like this. Then she closed the door. I went home and sat in the quiet. And that's when the aftershock hit me. Not rage. Not heartbreak. Just this strange, dull ache. Like I'd run a marathon I didn't sign up for. You think you'll be furious when you find out. You imagine you'll scream or cry or shatter something. But honestly, I just felt empty. I stood in the kitchen, opened a beer, and stared at the fridge. At all the magnets and notes that looked like a museum of a life that no longer belonged to me. Grocery lists. Vacation reminders. A stupid photo booth strip of us making goofy faces from a fair 3 summers ago. That was the real kicker. I still missed her. Not the her I now knew, but the version I thought I had. I poured out the beer. I wanted a clear head. Because the next part of the plan wasn't emotional. It was practical. I met with the lawyer Monday morning. Showed him the documentation. He reviewed the prenup, a detail Ashley had insisted on years ago, ironically to protect both of us. Turns out it worked, just not in the direction she expected. The infidelity clause was airtight. Proof of cheating meant a financial landslide in my favor. House, accounts, even our joint business stake gone in a clean stroke of legal irony. We filed quietly. No public spectacle. I let the news reach her while she was still sipping daiquiris in an overwater bungalow. She didn't call. She didn't text. But Derek did. It came in the form of a voicemail. Slurred. Rambling. Full of half apologies and weird attempts at brotherhood. Man, listen. I didn't plan for this to happen. It just did. She said you guys were already done. I shouldn't have. I know. But bro, don't ruin me over this. We're blood. I saved the message. Filed it under final nail. Because here's the thing. Blood makes you related. Loyalty makes you family. And he had neither. The invitation went out like any other. Text to the family group chat. Short and sweet. Dinner at my place this Saturday. 7 p.m. Everyone's welcome. No excuses. No one suspected a thing. Not my mother, not my sister, not even Derek, who probably thought the storm had passed just because I hadn't publicly blown up his life. Ashley was still out of the country with him when the text hit. I figured if she wanted a vacation, I'd give her one. Right before I bulldozed her return home. Saturday arrived. I cooked everything myself. Roasted chicken, mashed potatoes, green beans, fresh rolls. Comfort food. The kind of dinner people lower their guard around. The kind that says, this is home. And by the end of it, no one at that table would ever feel at home again. The guests arrived in waves. My mom brought a bottle of wine. My sister Rachel showed up with her boyfriend. And then, fashionably late as always, he walked in. Derek. Tan. Relaxed. Wearing some Island Vibes button-down shirt like he hadn't just committed the most treacherous act a man can do to his own brother. Logan, he said, flashing that patented grin. Didn't expect the invite, but I'm glad you reached out. I smiled. Yeah, figured we were overdue for some family time. He clapped my shoulder, unaware of the target painted across his back. You look good, man. Been hitting the gym? Oh yeah, I said. I've been working out. Stress relief. The meal started off normal enough. Small talk. Wine. Chatter about work, weather, Rachel's new promotion. I was the perfect host, charming, calm, even refilled Derek's glass like I was proud to have him there. Then came dessert. I served slices of apple pie with vanilla ice cream and set the final dish in front of Derek. Then I cleared my throat. You know, I said, it's funny. Apple pie always reminds me of high school. Remember that trip to Lake Tahoe? The one where we both got food poisoning from that gas station burrito? Derek chuckled. Yeah, man, I haven't thought about that in years. Wild how time flies, I said. Back then, we used to tell each other everything. No secrets. He shifted slightly in his chair. The room got quieter. Which brings me to something I've been meaning to say, I continued, setting my fork down. I know about you and Ashley. Just like that. No dramatic build-up. No shouting. Just the truth, flat on the table, right next to the napkins and pie. Derek froze. My mother's fork clattered onto her plate. What? Rachel whispered. I leaned forward. I know about the trip to Bora Bora. The hotel receipts. The tickets. The robe. All of it. He opened his mouth. Then closed it. Logan, he started. No, I said calmly. Don't. I'm not here for a speech. I'm not here for a confession. I already have all the evidence I need. This dinner isn't about that. He blinked. Then why am I here? Because I wanted everyone at this table to know who you really are. Not in private. Not in whispers. Out loud. Publicly. My mom gasped. Rachel's boyfriend quietly lowered his fork like he didn't want to be involved. Rachel just stared at Derek like she'd never seen him before. You were my brother, I said. My best man. My fishing buddy. The guy I used to defend when Dad said you'd never grow up. And you slept with my wife. Repeatedly. Secretly. Like a coward. I reached into a drawer beside me and pulled out 2 envelopes, one for each of them. This is the official copy of the divorce papers I filed. And a civil claim for emotional distress. Your name's in it, Derek. You're legally involved. He looked down at the envelope I dropped in front of him like it was radioactive. Are you serious? As a heart attack. Silence. You could have just talked to me, man, he mumbled. No, I replied. You could have talked to me. Any of those nights you were sneaking around with my wife. Any time in the last year when I asked you how you were doing and you looked me in the eye and lied. He looked around the table, but no one came to his defense. Not even Mom. I trusted you, she said quietly. I didn't mean for it to happen, he said. I laughed. That's the worst part. You meant every second of it. You booked the flights. You brought my wife into my brother's bed. That's not a mistake. That's a blueprint. Rachel finally spoke. Get out. Derek turned, surprised. Come on, Racha. No, you don't get to be family today. Not anymore. He stood slowly, took his envelope, left his pie untouched. He looked back once, maybe expecting me to flinch, maybe hoping for some parting line to smooth it over. He got nothing, just silence. After he left, the room stayed quiet for a long time. Then Rachel raised her glass. To truth, she said. I clinked mine against hers. Into starting over. And just like that, the family dinner ended, not with dessert, but with dignity. Ashley messaged me the day she landed back in the States. Well, she tried calling first. For times, actually. But I didn't answer. I let the phone vibrate silently on the kitchen counter while I ate breakfast in peace, eggs, toast, and a casual satisfaction that didn't need to be rushed. I figured she'd switch to texting eventually. She always did when she realized her voice wasn't winning. At 10:42 a.m., it arrived. Ashley, Logan, please call me. We need to talk. I smiled. You know what's funny? For months, I would have dropped everything at a message like that. Rearranged my entire day just to hear her voice. But now, I finished my toast. I even washed the dishes. At 11:07 a.m. Ashley, I don't know what you've done, but the bank froze my access. There's a hold on my cards. What's going on? Ah, there it is. Not, I'm sorry. Not, I love you. Not even a vague attempt at remorse. Just straight to the panic when the plastic stopped swiping. I didn't reply. Instead, I scrolled through my files, bank records, joint account closures, asset reallocations. My lawyer had been thorough. Every loophole sewn shut like a custom suit. The prenuptial clause we signed in good faith? She just found out it wasn't written in pencil. At 12:22 p.m. Ashley, are you serious right now? You can't just lock me out of everything. This is still our house. At 12:35 p.m. Ashley, Derek and I are coming by to talk. That was my cue. I sent back a single reply. First one all day. Me, I wouldn't recommend that. And just to make sure the message landed properly, I attached a photo. The new front door. With a new lock. And a shiny little sign posted just above the handle. Private property. Trespassers will be prosecuted. Ashley didn't respond. But Derek did. An hour later, I got an email, of all things. Subject line, from Derek. I clicked. Might as well. Logan, man, look. I'm sorry. I really am. This all got way out of hand. We didn't mean to hurt you. Things just happened. But now Ashley's freaking out. You've iced her out of everything. She's scared. I'm scared too, honestly. We need to meet. One conversation. Man to man. I stared at the screen for a long second, then hit delete. It wasn't anger. I wasn't even mad anymore. I was done. They'd wanted a secret, sexy getaway? Great. I gave them what they asked for. And now that paradise had an expiration date, reality was knocking and I wasn't opening the door. Later that night, Ashley finally showed up. But not at the house. No, she pulled a classic move. She went to my mom's. Which meant I got a call from the woman who still had half a foot in denial and the other in barefoot rage. Logan, she said, her voice low and tightly wound, your wife just showed up here with her suitcase crying on the porch. Ex-wife, I corrected her. Don't play semantics with me, she snapped. She says you cut her off. That you're ruining her life. You want to explain. I sighed, stepped outside, and looked up at the stars. She ruined her life, Mom. I just took the keys back. There was a pause. The kind of pause that says I can't argue with you, but I still wish this wasn't happening. She's not staying here, Mom said eventually. I told her that. Told her to call a hotel. I nodded to myself. You did the right thing. Another pause. I raised you boys better than this. You and Derek used to. No, Mom. I cut in. You raised me better than this. Derek raised himself on ego and shortcuts. And Ashley? She was just looking for an escape hatch. I happened to be standing on it. There was a long exhale. You okay, honey? I chuckled. You know what? I actually am. And for the first time since this whole thing began, I meant it. The next day, A delivery truck pulled into my driveway. A sleek white van, nothing fancy. Out came two movers with clipboard smiles and matching uniforms. "Here for the pickup," one of them said. "What pickup?" I asked. He checked his tablet. "Order from a Mrs. Ashley Woods. Looks like she scheduled it before her flight. We're here for her personal effects, closet contents, jewelry drawer, bath products, and wedding dress." I raised an eyebrow. "She left a dress here?" He nodded. "Says it's boxed. Label's clear." I pointed. "Top of the attic stairs. It's in a gray plastic bin. Tell her to enjoy the memories." They hauled out her things while I sat on the porch sipping lemonade like a man watching a very polite exorcism. Before they left, I slipped a folder into the jewelry box. It contained one final letter. No threats. No venom. Just clarity. Ashley. There was a version of us that worked. It wasn't fake. I know that now. But it ended the moment I became a placeholder and Derek became a destination. You didn't just cheat on me. You stepped outside of everything we promised, while still expecting me to keep the lights on and the door open. That door's closed now. Good luck. You'll need it. Logan. I had one more move to make. A parting shot, not to cause chaos, but to ensure clarity. Ashley and Derek thought the worst of it was over. That they could ride out the storm with charm, apologies, and maybe a legal technicality or two. What they didn't count on. The gift I had planned for Derek's job. You see, Derek wasn't just my brother. He was also a junior partner at a real estate firm, one that prided itself on family values and integrity. Their website had a whole tab about it, full of smiling stock photos and buzzwords. So I forwarded the evidence. Emails, travel dates, timestamps, discreetly sent to HR and Derek's managing partner. I didn't embellish. Didn't need to. Just facts, a subject line titled, "In case this affects your code of conduct," and a polite sign-off. I didn't hear anything for 3 days. Then Rachel texted me. He got fired. No ceremony. No goodbye party. Just a clean, quiet exit. Apparently, clients don't like working with men who sleep with their own sister-in-law. Who knew? As for Ashley, her law firm didn't fire her, but the gossip got around. One colleague emailed me anonymously, saying, "She used to be the one who gave lectures on ethics. Now she's the break room punchline. People talk. Especially when someone who built a life on appearances shows the cracks in her mask." But I wasn't laughing. I was just free. I moved out of that house. Too many ghosts in the walls. Too much silence that sounded like her voice if you listened long enough. Got a loft downtown. Exposed brick. Minimalist. Clean lines. Nobody's clothes in the closet but mine. I bought a new bed, threw out every sheet and towel that ever touched her skin, and started fresh. You know what the weirdest part was? I didn't feel lonely. People assume a man needs closure from them, the cheaters, the liars. But the truth is, I didn't want anything from Ashley or Derek anymore. Not their reasons. Not their guilt. And definitely not their apologies. I had closure the moment I realized their betrayal didn't define me, it exposed them. And me? I was still standing. I went back to the gym. Picked up photography again. Started running. The pain didn't disappear, it just got quieter. Like background noise you forget is even there. 6 months later, Rachel threw a party for Mom's 65th. Big backyard thing. Lights in the trees, catered sliders, the whole suburban spread. I almost didn't go. But I did. Ashley showed up. Alone. She looked different. Not worse. Just smaller. Quieter. Like a version of herself that didn't know how to take up space anymore. She walked up to me slowly, holding a drink like it might protect her. "Logan," she said, "can I talk to you?" I looked her over. For the first time, she didn't feel like a part of my life. She felt like a story I used to tell. "You can say what you need to say," I replied, "but don't expect it to change anything." Her mouth opened. Closed. She looked down. "I messed up," she said. "I know that's not enough, but I wanted you to know I'm sorry. Truly." I nodded. "I believe you." That startled her. "You do. I believe you're sorry," I said. "But not because you hurt me. You're sorry because you lost. You bet against someone who wasn't playing games." She blinked, and I walked away. Not out of anger. Just peace. People always ask, what was the revenge? Was it the legal victory? The financial win? The job loss? The humiliation? Nah. The revenge was waking up every morning without them in my life and feeling nothing but relief. See, Ashley and Derek gave me the worst of themselves. But I gave them the best of me. And I survived. They'll spend the rest of their lives remembering what they threw away like it was nothing. But me? I walked out of the wreckage with my integrity, my pride, and my name. They can keep the lies. I've got the truth, and that's worth more than any apology.